Well, hi. Welcome to our interview. Thank you so much for agreeing to come interview with me today.
It's my pleasure. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, well, today I'm just going to ask you some pretty random questions so they can range all over from life to really general things, really specific things. So I'm just going to start out this by asking you, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Ooh, that was a very definite answer within my mind. I wanted to be a teacher, and I wanted to be an elementary school teacher, and I wanted to be that basically until I got to college. So I wasn't one of those kids where it's like, I'm going to be an astronaut, I'm going to be the president. No, I was going to be a teacher, and I knew that. But somehow little me didn't align with big me once I got here. So I wanted to be a teacher, and I came into college as an elementary education major. That lasted about a month here, which confused me because I wanted that my whole life. But then ultimately I was like, I hope to have a family someday, and I would love to teach my own kids Sunday school classes or coach a softball team or something. And I feel like if I'm a teacher and already am with kids all day, I might not want to do that. And I didn't like that idea.
Yeah.
So I said, there's got to be something else that I could do. And so I was like, okay, I want to be an event planner, change the role. And so then I picked my majors off of being an event planner. So we started off as teachers. So really those are the two things I wanted to do in life.
So is that what you want to do now, is be an event planner, or have things changed a little bit since then even?
Yes, I don't think necessarily things have changed, but I've kind of added on to what I'm looking for in a job. So event planner is number one, but this is hypocritical. I want to be an event planner, but I don't want to work nights and weekends, and those two don't really align.
Yeah.
So more of like a corporate event planner, where it's more meetings or conferences or things like that.
Yeah.
That I like the idea of, but then aside from that, not changing from it, but in addition to that, I like community relations, so how organizations are interacting with the communities. Are they sponsoring? Are they kind of having a booth at the city days? Things like that. And then how the relationship between the organization and the community affect each other. And then internal communications or corporate communications, basically communication among employees. I'm interested in. So those three areas, kind of. But I think all of them have a piece of event planning in it.
Yeah.
Community relations, okay, planning a 5K for the community. Or corporate communications, let's plan the company's picnic. So I think that in some capacity I will be event planning.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool that you have specific areas that you want to go into. Yeah, that's really cool, and I really like how you have that idea of just the relationships between people, because ultimately it's between the employees and the organization, or if it's between the community and the community members. So that's really cool that you've been able to narrow that down. Okay, so another random question is, do you have a significant other, and so when and how, and kind of tell me about your story about how you met that person.
Sure. Yes, I have a significant other. His name is Brock. We are neighbors at home. So he lives 2 doors down, not directly next to me, but the house over. I moved there when I was 10, so he was 11 or 12. And so we played together when we were little. But obviously, I don't know, maybe you didn't either, maybe you did. I didn't have feelings for boys at that age, so it wasn't really a thought. It was just we were actually playing, and then we went to the same church. So I kind of grew up that way, and then I was like, once I started to get in this age where boys were actually a thing, and I would pay attention to them, then I was like, yep, he's the one. And so my poor sister would get dragged out of the house because whenever he would see us outside, he would come out. So, Abby, will you ride bikes with me? Abby, will you ride bikes with me? And we would just ride around our neighborhood hoping he would come out for me. Yeah. I owe her for that one. Every day she's like, Abby, will you ride bikes with me? And she did, so she's a good sister.
Yeah, a good sister.
And then that was in middle school. And then he stopped talking to Abby and I for a while because he was too cool. That happens to the best of us, so I can't blame him.
It happens.
And we were kind of nerdy to begin with, so I get it. And then once he started driving, so I guess 16, then he was kind of back on my radar. And okay, this is kind of a side note, but we had a saying because we had two little girls that were neighbors that Abby and I were really close to. They would say Earth to Chelsea when Brock was coming, so I would know and not do anything stupid or like fix my hair and things like that. So there was a lot of planning that went into the relationship, even though he didn't know he was in it yet.
He had no idea.
Right. And then honestly, I don't really know how things like actually move forward. We started hanging out. He asked for my number and not my sister's number. That was a big deal for me. Yeah. Now looking back on it, but at the time it was exciting.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And then he was the reason I got texting because he texted me one day and I didn't have texting. So I tried calling him. Big mistake, but I tried calling him and he didn't answer. So then I'm devastated. So I go to my dad and I was like, Dad, I need texting. And he's like, Brandon, okay? Well, okay, yep. And so we got like 250 texts or however. And then the first month I exceeded that. I said, Dad, I need unlimited texting. And then things kind of went from there. And then our family has a pig roast each year at our cabin where we invite our family friends and things like that. And then people normally stay over in tents. And he came to one of those. And I really don't know what happened, but it was kind of that day where it's like, okay, let's try this. And so we did. And we've been together since then. So going on 6 years, I guess. So
wow.
That's where I met him and how I met him. And like you had mentioned, we've been apart now for 5 of the 6 years, I guess. He went to school and I still had a year of high school. And now I'm here and he's at home. So it'll be good to go home and actually see him more consistently here. Yeah. Actually on the weeknights versus just the weekends. So.
Yeah. So do you guys still go to the same church, or I mean, and do your families like each other? Like it sounds like your families kind of know each other. I mean, obviously since they're neighbors and kind of church stuff like that. So.
Good question. Yes, our families know each other and they're very, very close. That's good and bad, I think. That's with anything. There's a good and bad side to it. Yes, our parents are very close. They go on vacations together.
Wow, that is close.
Yeah, it is close. Without us, so that makes me a little upset. They need to have their fun too. So yes, they're very close. And they hang out regularly. So our families will hang out, but now more so it's the parents hanging out. I'll hang out with his family and he'll hang out with mine, but we don't do a lot, just like all of us together, which is okay too. But we do that, and then we don't go to the same church anymore. My family goes to the same church that we did, but Brock's family moved churches. So.
Okay.
His mom still works at the church that I go to, and I see them pretty consistently. I walk over to their house and say hi, and Brock does the same. So yeah, that relationship has definitely been maintained.
So where do you talk about your futures, or like what do you anticipate will be the next step for you guys? Are you going to move back home, kind of near him?
Yeah, absolutely. He's living at home right now, and I'm going to move home.
Okay.
So we will be very close, which will be a change. And yes, we've talked about the future. I say yes, the plan is to get married, unless God forbid fate should step in. That's kind of like mine, because he's like, yes, and I'm like, yes, but I'm not going to say yes until you ask me type thing. And so we've talked about it. He would ask me right now if I would let him, but I am a little bit hesitant. I'm like, well, I just want to be graduated. Yeah. And that's kind of the guideline. He says, well, it's not your timeline. I could ask you. I was like, okay, yeah, that's true. Here's where the whole planning routine comes in, and it doesn't really work for him. So I said I want to be graduated, and I said my sister has to be in the country because she's going to be out of the country for a while this summer.
Okay.
And that's all I really know about that. But I just said it's natural for him. He's graduated, has a full-time job. He's opening his own business right now. So he's doing like the big kid thing. And I'm like, you had your senior year of college. You got to graduate and experience that like joy. I want to have that time. Yeah. And then let's move forward. So yeah, we'll see when and if and how things happen.
Yeah. Well, I can understand that, like wanting to graduate and get kind of like your life figured out, because like you said, he's had that chance to do that, right. And like you should too, but it sounds like he respects that from you, so he respects that. That's kind of what you're looking for, so that sounds really cool.
Exactly.
All right, so my next question is, have you ever thought of adopting?
Well, this kind of ties into the last question actually in my relationship. Yes, I think about adopting regularly. I would love to adopt kids. I only want 2 kids. So it kind of might play into that. I would just adopt the 2 kids, but maybe this is too much information for you. Brock and I have talked about, like, if we want kids and how many kids we want and how we want to have them, and he's against adopting. So I would like to adopt, but the reality of if it will happen or not, I would say it's unlikely because I think both people in a relationship need to want that.
Yeah.
So yes, I would love that, but realistically speaking, with my lifetime, I don't think I'll have the opportunity to do that.
And that means, like, it's kind of a give and take, I feel like, in relationships. And not every, situation, like, right now it's, with our relationships, it's kind of like, oh, where do we want to go for dinner? But, as you get older, like, those decisions that you have to make are a lot more serious. And it is really a give and take. So, thanks for being so honest.
Yes. I also don't think he would be against it if there are other ways, if we turn out we can't get pregnant or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's fully against the idea. So I guess maybe there's hope for that.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he doesn't think adoption is bad, and neither do I. My aunt and uncle can't have kids. So they're considering adopting. And maybe that would help, not influence, but kind of broaden his perspective on that too, once he sees them do that.
Yeah. And, like, it's like time goes on, people's, like, opinions about things change. So it's kind of like a learning process, and who knows what will be in the future. But
absolutely.
What are your major goals in life?
Well, right now, short term, to find a job kind of close to home that I'm happy and content with for right now. Major goals in life. Ultimately, the thing I want most in life is to have a family. And if finances allow, I guess, I'd like to stay home with kids. I struggle to say, like, I came to school for 4 years and then I want to stay home in a few years with my kids. But I've wanted that since, I don't know when I started. I can't remember a time when I didn't want that. So if finances allow, that would be a goal in life, is to be able to take time off of work if we're fortunate enough to be able to afford to do so, to stay home with my kids, because I think that's important, until they get in school. And then a goal would be then to work in a school district where I could still spend the summers with them, but have a job where I still feel fulfilled and needed in another role besides a parent.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a really good goal. I really like how you're being honest about wanting to be, like, a stay-at-home parent, because I think that, going to college, it does feel like in a way that's a waste of time, but, it's really not. Like, it's giving you those experiences that will probably help you with that. And it's just as honorable to be, a stay-at-home parent as it is to be like an out-of-work parent. So, well, that's all the questions I have for you today, but I thank you so much for participating. Yes. And our observer for today is Andrea. Hey.